we're going to learn about metabolism. I want you to think of it as chemistry. Metabolism is all the chemical reactions happening in your body. So, from our point of view, I want you to understand that we can eat some kind of food, like say sugar, like a carbohydrate, and we can change it into a new type of food, like a fat, and our body will do this. So how does it look at the chemistry side? Right? Notice on the left we have glucose, a sugar, and you notice it's made out of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms, CHO. Well, on the right-hand side we have fat inside of our body called a triglyceride, and you notice here it's just got a whole bunch of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen atoms. Now, I'm not using the same number of glucose molecules that would actually equal one triglyceride. Obviously, you would need multiple glucose to make one triglyceride, but the atoms, this concept is the same. Notice we can take atoms from one biomolecule, break the chemical bonds in it, rearrange those atoms, form new chemical bonds to make a different biomolecule. Here's another example, right? We can take a carbohydrate, make a protein. You could eat proteins, your body, and it will convert it to a carbohydrate. So, once again, we have our glucose on the left, right? Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And notice we'll make an amino acid, which is just a building block of a protein, on the right. I'm hoping you notice there's a new atom involved, the N, the nitrogen, on the right. So, where did that come from? It didn't come from glucose, right? We can't make new atoms. We can't destroy those atoms, right? And so that would actually be part of our diet. So we can eat in food that would have nitrogen, and that's where the nitrogen would be going. Go to build our proteins. For plants, right, you can give plants fertilizer. Well, mostly what you're giving them is mostly nitrogen, right, so that plants can build proteins. We can take fats, lipids, and our body can turn it into a protein, right? We can eat meat, right? We can eat proteins, and our body can turn it into fat, right? Store it as fat. So it goes back and forth. This whole concept, right? We take atoms, break the chemical bonds, rearrange those atoms, and build a new biomolecule, a different biomolecule. So what's doing this in our body? It's enzymes. Metabolism is mostly performed by enzymes, all right? So at the bottom diagram, you notice I have my blue enzyme down below, and the area where the action all happens on the enzyme is called the active site. Up above, we have something called a substrate. You can think of it as like food, all right? But it can be a whole bunch of other different type of molecules. And notice when the two come together, right, the substrate attaches into that active site, right? The enzyme's about to do work, and what it does is it breaks apart that substrate, right? You know this is digestion. Can it go the reverse direction and actually build molecules? Totally. Vitamins. Vitamins help our enzymes. They act as something called coenzymes. And coenzymes basically help make the active site turned on or accessible. It changes the shape of the active site and it makes it work. So, if you didn't actually have vitamins, guess what? Our enzymes wouldn't work. That means the chemical reactions those enzymes would do wouldn't happen. And that's why it's bad for our health. Thanks for listening.